Live already? Okay. Hello, welcome to another Todoist office hours. I'm Ana, I'm the head of design at Doist. I live in Porto, I'm Portuguese, and I've been working at Doist for about 8 years now. And Luis is the person that I'm doing these office hours with.
Yeah. Cool. So I've been at Doist for a little bit less time, just around 6-7 months. And product designer. I'm living in Brighton, south of England, but originally also from Portugal. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
So we will be talking about how we organize the design work. We use Todoist a lot to do that, and we will share our screens. We will show a little bit of how I manage things, how Luis manage things, because sometimes it depends a lot on the people you are working with, the amount of work that you actually add to the project, and we will also show how we organize our days and everything. So Luis will start here.
Cool. All right. So let me just share my screen. Cool. So you should be able to see. Okay, let's start with this one here. So this one, I guess so I get a little bit of context. Internally, we're trying to do more research at Doist, so user research, talking to our customers, and answering a few questions, basically, and yeah, and then organizing all of that in this Todoist project. Just 1 second. Cool, and organizing all of that in this Todoist project. This one here, the way it's structured is, well, it's in the board view, Kanban view. And we just, so on the first column, we've got a bunch of ideas, basically. So any request, anything you want to figure out, any question you have, you basically add it to the ideas, which works like the traditional backlog. And then I triage these ideas and see, okay, are we blocked on something? Do we need a plan for this? Do we know how we're going to be researching this? What kind of method? If it's going to be a survey or talking to people. And we use labels for some of this information. So this one is still pending. Like a lot of them are pending. This one is blocked by I think it's implementation. This one, no, blocked by analytics. So we want to answer this question, but we're blocked by analytics, so we have a tag for that. So anything else that would be blocked would be on this column. And then we have a few other like workflow stages. So, okay, this one isn't blocked, but we need a plan to do this, to run this. Some things are planned, and then if things have already been run, then there's analysis needed to be done. And then in March, we haven't done anything yet. Been quite a busy month. Also because this is my a bit of a side project for now for a few people. It has to be combined with other bits. But yeah, so you have a queue, and then just moves through the flow. This one is pretty simple. We have the product libraries. We're going to talk about this together. So from my side, we're changing from Sketch to Figma, and that's a lot. There's a lot of work. Basically, there's files. We already had files in Sketch, and there's components to do, mockups, and yada yada yada. So on this one here, we have it's still a flow. So we've got a to do, and it reads up for grabs because basically it's whoever wants to do this just grabs something and assigns themselves to the item. Then just moves on to doing and review. Like we've got an internal review for seeing if basically a checklist, like are the styles correct, is the component correct, and all that. And then it just moves into a done column that's grouped by month, essentially. Just so we have a little bit of a visibility over what's been done on a month by month basis. And that's kind of it from my side. I don't know if you want to talk about it, like how do you collaborate on this project here, Anna?
Yeah, sure. You can continue to share it. Let me go to that project. So, for example, I already completed the Android icons, which is assigned to me. So if I move it to another row, because Luis is the person responsible to make sure everything is reviewed and done correctly, you will be able to actually see that the task is already in review, and I can also assign it to him, and it should update on his side. And now he has the task for him that he can review it when he has time, and then he will move it to the done row, basically.
Sounds good. So on my side, I guess I've got one last project that I wanted to go through, and this is more of a one of our dues, one of our bundles. This one, funnily enough, wasn't actually collaborative. It's more like for me to see the status, because we are already tracking. So let's give you a little bit of context. So we have these bundles. They are basically composed of small tasks. So when a task isn't big enough for a full month, we put it into these bundles, and we work on them on a one-by-one basis, essentially. So at the end of the month, if we've done 3 or 4 things, then that's done. But if not, then we will still have achieved something, a smaller task. This one here, we because there wasn't that much, there isn't that much in flight. It's just one task at a time. We track the status just on daily stand-ups, but personally for me, I find it useful to see an overview of where things are. So what I did was essentially, so later, so this is all in the beginning of the project. This would have been a big list of items to work on. And we would have pulled something into next. So for example, there's some view as options that we're working. You've probably noticed that there's a test, there's an experiment you're running here with filters and labels on the left-hand side. So we've worked on that. This is for support because it's not yet released. Support and marketing and a few other bits are in the next column. At the end of the project, we were working on allowing drag and drop when sorting isn't default. And there are still a couple of bits blocked and a few things in review, and some of the items are ready to be released and already have been released. So this one here is actually just myself, just planning things and putting them in the right column and moving them, and then coming back here and checking. Okay, we've got a few things that are blocked. Also in my personal project, which I can go through quickly. And when we were trying this out, when we were doing a dry run for this office hours, then I actually commented on my messy organization, because this is all very well organized columns and all that, a few labels here and there, but my personal project is a bit messier. But yeah, so I've got tasks to just come back here and see, okay, this is still blocked. Let's see how we can move this forward. And there are some details in the comments explaining why is it blocked or what's blocking it. Yeah, so finally on my personal project, very quickly, this one is quite a little bit chaotic. So basically I have next week, I have this week, and I have loads of items. Some of them have date, others don't have a date. So as I go, I assign dates, things that I want to work on today or tomorrow. And basically in the upcoming, I have, for example, overdue items that I tend to use this as a prioritization. So there are fairly small items and they're overdue. So I'm just going to get rid of that instead of rescheduling. I'm going to get rid of that while we're doing the office hours. Then I'll work through the day, the tasks for the day. And then, okay, so if I finish that, if there's something from tomorrow, then okay, drag it over to today and work on that. And if I end the day and I find that something hasn't been done, then I probably look at it and think, oh, let's set a realistic task for this. I wanted to do it today, but it's not that important, and I just push it to the next week to be a bit more realistic, because it's already Wednesday. It's better to focus on other bits and yeah, be a bit more realistic with these timelines. Yeah, so I hope that was helpful. I think Anna, I'm gonna hand over to Anna now.
I'm muted, sorry. Basically, we create projects for almost everything. For example, even these office hours, we created a share project that me and Luis prepared like everything that we needed to do. Today, of course, we need to do the running the actual office hours, but yeah, select which projects to demo, create a StreamYard account so we could actually test and see how this works, testing everything. Yeah, doing a dry run just so we could see it. And yeah, so we had a couple of other office hours that we wanted to check as well to make sure that we had some ideas on how to do this, basically. So yeah, that was mostly it. So today, after this is finished, we can actually move this to the done. I won't do it right now because it's not done yet. But yeah, that's one of the things. So we create projects for almost everything. But yeah, different projects, as I mentioned in the beginning, will have different structures, even though right now we are doing a lot the boards view where we can simplify things and have the to-do in progress and done. So I will show a couple of projects. We already checked the product libraries. Another project that we are working on that Alex is leading for the design team, but I will take over for him starting next month is the new Todoist settings, which we are redesigning. And so, yes, we have tasks assigned to developers that are still to do. We have tasks assigned to designers, like Alex needs to onboard me to make sure that I know everything that needs to be done in the next month, for example. And yeah, we have the in progress tests and the done to review it by design, and everything that will be done for V2. Completed tasks are already closed, so we don't need to see all the noise there. For each release, we also create a simple project. This was to send an email and do a blog post for all the users about everything that we added to Todoist in the first quarter of the year. And yeah, we had a planning section section where we had everything in production, everything that was to be done, ready for translations, ready for launch, and yeah, what's launched, everything that's here. So as things become ready, we just move them to the next stage, and that way everyone can quickly have an overview of what needs to be done in each project that we are launching. As the team lead, I also have lots of one-on-ones, and we also use Todoist to organize the one-on-ones during the month. We have monthly one-on-ones, so during the month we will just add agenda items if it's not urgent. Of course, if it is something urgent, we will just contact each other and talk directly. But if that's not the case, we will add new agenda items for things that we need to discuss. Libraries, for example, I would assign it to myself because I'm the one that wants to discuss this in the next one-on-one, and I would add it. Luis during the entire process or during the entire month could even go here and see if I was planning to discuss anything, so we could also prepare. If there is anything specific that I want to discuss and I also want him to prepare, I will add a comment, notify him, and make sure that he knows what I'm planning to discuss, so he can also prepare, and he will do the same for me. During the meeting, we will also add actionables. So if there is anything specific that I need to do, I will add here as an actionable to make sure that I don't forget to do it. For example, if Luis asks me something that I don't know the answer to, and I need to ping someone else in the team, I will just add the task saying, hey, ping the finance team to know about the hardware budget, whatever it is. I will add the task and I will know that I need to do it by a certain time, and then I will get back to Luis when I have the answer for him, because yeah, we don't know everything. So one more project, which is the project that I have for leading the team. This is not the entire project, it's just a copy of the project. So I have like different boards for different things. Some of them are like small tasks, things I need to do every week, just making sure, for example, that everyone posted their snippets on Monday. And if they didn't, I will gently ask them where they are. Snippets are like the things that we did last week, the things that we are going to do the next week. And yeah, we post them for everyone. So that everyone in the company can have an overview of what we will be working on, basically what we did, if we even have any blocking and we need helping with. So yeah, that's one of the things. I also like to check all other teams' snippets. So I usually do it on Wednesdays because it already gave all the teams and everyone a chance to post delayed snippets, because they are usually, depending on the teams, they are posted either on Friday or on Monday. So by Wednesday, almost everyone usually already posted the snippets. So I like to go in and just have a quick overview to know what all teams are working on. I have small things like checking all the permissions in the Figma team to make sure that only people that need to be editors are editors, and we are not paying for extra seats if we don't need them. To also, if someone left the team, for example, to make sure that they are no longer there. So specs I need to create that are also here. For example, we will be hiring a video producer. I also need to create a track. This is for the grow at Doist. So yeah, I also need to create a track for the video producer because it's a new role in the company, but I don't know exactly what I will, when I will be doing this, because we still didn't hire this person and conversations only happen 6 months in. So yeah, I think these are mostly the kind of projects that we have, some for projects, some more for the organizational purpose. We also have one shared with the entire design team, which just has like links to the 2 weekly meetings that we have, because the team is spread, so we can't have everyone in the same meeting, and the tasks to make sure that everyone posts the snippets. And here is where I will ping them as a reminder, like, hey, could you please post your snippets if they forget. So yeah, differently from Luis, I don't have a project where I manage everything, and as my chaotic comment when he showed me his project, I basically have 3 filters that I live in. My home filter is my today at Doist, and it displays all the tasks that I need to do today. This, as I mentioned, we are hiring a video producer. So the main task that I have to do today is finishing the 3rd day of interviews. So yeah, running these office hours, of course, I also need to do it. And the other teams, the other tasks, if I don't have time to finish them, it won't be important. I can just move them to the other, to tomorrow, except for the weekly product meeting that we will have today. Then I have Today at Life, which is everything that is not part of work, basically. Usually my list is bigger, but today is starting early with these office hours, and then I have a full day of interviews. So if it happens the same as in the past 2 days, in the end of the day, I won't have energy to do absolutely nothing else. So yeah, I will just try to exercise to finish my day, and I won't demand anything more out of me. And to plan my week, I only use this to plan my work week, basically. And I use another filter, which collects all the information from all the Doist projects, basically. And it shows me the tasks that I need to do during the week. If something needs to move out, for example, I'm pretty sure that today I won't run the iOS project, so I will move it to tomorrow, and the same with the Android project. I will also move it to tomorrow, and these are just recurring tasks to make sure that I always have the projects running on my computer, basically. So I try to do them at least once a month, but there is no specific date or anything to be done. So yeah, and my lists are always half in Portuguese, half in English, which sometimes makes things more complex. But yeah, I just write things as I go through it when I remember, and then it's a mix of all the languages together. So yeah, if I need to plan my work and my life, I will just use the normal upcoming view. But yeah, I don't use it that often. I mostly live in these 3 filters, knowing that the today at Doist is the most important one. Yeah, that's it for me. I don't know if you have any question, anything that we can reply.
Looks like there are a few questions.
Yeah. So Ashley asks, how does the head of product collaborates with the head of design? Is that it? I guess so. So we don't have currently a head of product. So we are doing things differently. At the company, we are actually looking to hire a head of product as we are speaking. But right now, we have a product team which has people from different areas. So I'm part of the product team together with Amir, which is the founder of the company. We have Hugo from the marketing team. We have Gonzalo, which is the CTO. We have Rasto from the Android team that kind of represents the mobile apps. And we have Jan from the integrations team. And we all work together to do part of the work that the normal head of product would do in other companies. This is still a side project for all of us. So at this point, that's why we are looking to hire a new head of product. That's someone that can be dedicated full-time to do this job. But yeah, for now, we are all doing the job together. So the collaboration, as I'm part of this group, the collaboration is done automatically. So yeah. Do you want to take the next one? And Ashley, please let me know if this replies. If it doesn't, let me know. I can add on top of this.
Yeah, so communication with developers. Pretty early on, really. I guess for both the work itself, the work itself is, estimated by developers, and but even before going into the do, we tend to share ideas and work and change quite publicly in the company. So everybody can see, and this is going to be feedback from everybody. It's not just developers, the marketing support, design, different avenues of design, developers and all that. So in terms of general feedback, that's really where it starts, I guess. And then the work itself, I mean, people are involved straight away as well. At the beginning of the do, for example, at the beginning of the cycle, we will have gone through the stage of creating a spec. So this is describing the work. This is how it's going to be done. This is why it's being done. Then people would have already participated in the document, in the spec document, leaving comments. For example, we're currently working on improving our our Android apps and material design. So we're talking about how can we accelerate certain actions, and this is a collaborative effort, basically. So people are giving out ideas. Maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do that. And or other people will ask, oh, what if we, for example, animations, we're trying to improve them. Well, in terms of feasibility, what do you think of this? Do you think this is possible? And just the standard process, just back and forth. So we try to involve as many people as early as possible in the process. So it's never, you have this anti-pattern where you have, okay, it's designed, it's perfect, and throw it over the wall, and then someone will say, not quite possible. Let's go back. Try to avoid that. Just involve everybody as early as possible. Yeah, hope that answers your question.
Dennis asks if we always use the board view, and if yes, why? Maybe we can both reply. Yeah, no, we don't always use the board view. For example, if I share my screen again, you can see that some of the projects don't have so this is the video producing IRIC committee, another project that, yeah, we create projects basically for everything. So I have like, it doesn't use the board view. The design Doist also doesn't use the board view because it doesn't need to be done in that way. So it depends a lot on the project. I think most of my other projects use the board view only because even in mobile it's easier to reach other sections because you just scroll horizontally to access other things. So yeah, even for personal projects like things to read, I have them organized by in boards view because it allows me to quickly jump to what's things to read, what's things to hear, what's things to view. If they are videos and things like that, I can quickly choose the kind of thing I want to see first. But yeah, not everything uses the boards view. It depends. For me, if it's a to-do in progress, ready to review, it makes sense to use the board view because you will just drag it to the next stage when they are ready. If it's more a free project, it depends on how we want to organize it. But yeah, I'm a fan of the board view, so I am unsure if Luis feels the same.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because a lot of the projects, I mean, pretty much what 90% of the projects or that I showed, except for my personal one, they all use the board view, and it's basically because it has very clear stages, very clear steps where you can just drag between them. And that's basically it. My personal project is a bit messier. Yeah, I probably need to tidy it up a little bit. It's a bit messier in the sense that I've got a task and I've got subtasks, and sometimes I've got 1, 2, 3 levels. They're more like checklists, really. And on that project in specific, like I don't really have a stage for those tasks or steps for those tasks. It's pretty much, here's the task. Check if, for example, I've got threads. I've got a bunch of, I guess I could share my screen again. So let me share again. Where am I looking? March office hours. Yes. Cool. So on my personal one, I will have, probably not visible straight away here, but I've got basically a bunch of threads that I need to answer. And this is just a one step. Some things are important, some aren't. But I basically, so this is on Twist. Yeah. So obviously we use Twist internally and we've got threads. And basically I drive by, I do like a drive-by through a lot of threads, and some things they will require my reply straight away. If it's my main project, then okay, go in, reply, etc. But for other bits, it's just, okay, oh, this is interesting. Let me add to my backlog and I'll do one a day or something like that. So for this, I don't really need boards. I just add them to my personal project. They're somewhere in here, like there's a couple of them here next week. There's a bunch of them this week, just uncategorized. So basically what I do, and this is the reason why my project is a little bit messy, I just carry over stuff from week to week, and then assign dates if I'm going to work on it today. Bit messy, but this specific use case doesn't really need boards. Boards are great for tasks that have clear steps or clear grouping, basically, because you can also group by label and or priority or a few other things. That's kind of it from my side.
Yeah, I don't use a lot of subtasks. I have lots of sections to divide things, or I tag things with labels, and then I can create different kinds of groupings, either in the board view or not, based on the label. So I don't have a lot of subtasks. So boards is a quick way, because most of the information is like the main task. I can easily access it through the boards view, and yeah. Now, Clement, for all these questions, if you need us to go in more depth for any of them, just let us know and we will do it again. So Clement asks, for the one-on-ones, where do you log information? For instance, I write down things like kid's birthday when someone tells me this information during our discussion. Yeah, I do the same. I have a document for each of the people in the company where I write personal information, like partners' names and kids' names and things like that. So I don't forget. I do the same with some friends and colleagues as well. So I have all the birthdays in my contact lists and everything to make sure that I don't forget. So yeah, I have a document, a note in Writer, but it can be really any kind of software, and I just add this kind of information there.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I tend to do something like that as well. But so yeah, pretty much the same process. But I found it interesting that a podcast I listened to a while ago, this guy, the way he described it sounded a bit weird because he said, "Oh, I just create baseball cards for everyone. So for every person that this person meets, he creates a baseball card." I don't actually know what kind of attributes he has there, but I found the concept kind of interesting because it's kind of like baseball card, like trading card, the Magic, the Gathering, that kind of stuff. So each person has, I don't know if he's doing like strengths and weaknesses, and I don't know if it's more like weird like that because it sounds like a card like I don't know, vulnerable against whatever. But I found it interesting. So it seems like it's kind of a common way to do things. Write these notes down. I do the same.
Yeah, I think our memory is limited, so we can think of everything. Sometimes we even meet someone and like in a conference, and we forget where we actually meet them. So I find it that it's a good idea to, when you add a contact, add like a small note saying where the person came from, for example. That usually helps. And so I do the same for people at Doist, because especially as the team grows, it's impossible for us to remember all the names, all the birthdays and everything. So yeah, it's easy to track that information, and it's always nice to know that. Yeah. Stein asks, how do you decide what projects to take on? Basically, in the product design team, we mostly work in cycles, as Luis mentioned, and these are monthly cycles. So the product team decides what are the main projects that we will be working for the next month. Some of those projects may take more than 1 month, but each month it will have a dedicated designer. And usually what I do is ask everyone in the team, what project do you prefer to take on? So for example, if Luis is already working on a project, he will continue in the next month, unless for some reason he can't. But if he finished the previous project, he may prefer to work on a specific project because that's an area that interests him. So I usually ask like, hey, do you have any preference to the entire team? And usually everyone has opinions and preferences. So yeah, that's how we decide what project to take on at any time. Luis, I don't know if you want to add more information.
No, that's perfect. But the only thing I was going to say, this is going back to a previous question, but for this information about the people, like on the one-to-one, we don't have it, but a good tip is for board views is to have a column for like persistent information. So.
Yeah, I don't do that because I never mentioned to anyone in the team that I collect this information. So now if everyone sees this, they will know that I actually have a note with like partners' names, kids' names, and things like that. So yeah.
Do I need to issue a GDPR request? Get my information from you.
Yeah. So more questions. How you decide if you discuss topics, projects, informations in Twist or in Todoist comments? So actually, we don't use just Twist and Todoist. For example, we use Figma, where we can also add inline comments for the information. We use paper documents Dropbox paper documents to create design specs. So we also discuss things in line. Our usual rule of thumb is all big discussions happen in Twist. So if we are discussing a new feature, we will do it on a thread in Twist. If it's just a if, for example, we want to ping someone directly on a specific comment, like the task that I moved from to review for Luis on the Android icons, I would just keep the discussion there, because it's something, it's not a big discussion. It's just, hey, Luis, can you please review this and make sure that I didn't do any mistake and everything matches the guidelines. So I would keep it in Todoist. If it was to start a bigger discussion and that happened, like, hey, do you think this is the best grouping for all the icons, for example, that happened while we were working on the icons, we create a thread in Twist, because it's also not something that we want to discuss just both of us. We want to involve the other designers in the team. So we will create a thread about it. If it's in the same with the other platforms, so if you want in Figma, if you want to comment just, hey, do you think this curve here is the correct size or something, we will probably ask it in Figma instead of starting a thread on Twist. But if it's a bigger discussion around maybe that not being the best metaphor for a certain icon, we will again discuss it on Twist, because that's where we can easily involve more people, and we can keep all the big discussions in the same place. And Usain, I don't know if this is the correct pronunciation, so sorry. What integrations, automations do you use with Todoist? I actually don't use any. So I don't know if Luis uses any of the integrations and automations. I do everything manually, which says a lot more about me than about the integrations and automations that we have for the product. But yeah, I do everything manually.
Yeah, I tend to do that as well. We're probably not the best people to ask about this, but we do know people who use like automations and integrations. We were talking about the other day about this, how we generate those weekly snippets. I think it was in Mir, wasn't it?
Yeah, he has I don't know if it's Zapier or EFTT, and it creates, he has a label, it creates automatically all the posts to another place, so we can easily copy paste the snippets. Lots of people in the company use the calendar integration as well. The Gmail, Google Calendar integration to see the tasks either on the calendar or the calendar events on Todoist, or both ways. Personally, I prefer to keep my events separated from calendar. So yeah.
Yeah, one thing that I found really useful are the systemic, I think you call them system extensions. So basically you can, on macOS, you can just right-click any link and then just boop, add it to Todoist. So it's quite useful.
Yeah, I use that. I use it a lot as well. And even on the computer, the quick extension to add things to Todoist. That is one of my most used things, but nothing that integrates directly with the product. Do we have any more questions? No? Okay, so please leave comments on the YouTube if you have any other question. With me and Luis, we'll try to go there maybe in the next couple of days and reply to questions if we have anything. And yeah, it was a pleasure. We shouldn't want to add anything.
No, that was great. That was really good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and let's see each other soon. Bye.